We are approaching the one-year anniversary of the ice storm that left tens of thousands of households across western Oregon without power. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Templeman. In our top story tonight, reporter Madison Yeesh spoke with residents in one of the hardest hit neighborhoods in Springfield about what they learned and how they're preparing for another emergency.
We were all downstairs with a bunch of blankets, trying with flashlights and candles, just trying to keep our phones charged, trying to stay alert about everything going on, and trying to listen for trees falling, because at the park we have the big oak trees and we could hear them crackling and falling.
That was Emily Stewart reflecting on the impact of last year's ice storm on her family. Stewart's neighbor Willie, who asked not to show his face on camera, said he was out of power for 10 days. Willie says he was more prepared than some of his other neighbors with a generator and propane heaters, but he was not ready for the duration of the outage.
After I think day 4 or 5, propane was getting a little thin, but I had 10 cans of propane on hand, so I would heat the house in the evening and to about 80 degrees, and then wouldn't heat it again until about 4 or 5 the next day.
He also says one of his neighbors had a tree, quote, split his house in two, and you can still see the damage. Residents here in the Thurston neighborhood of Springfield were hit hard by last year's ice storm. At the end of this road, you can even still see downed trees a year later. But they say they've taken extra precautions to be prepared in case of a future ice storm. Several of the people I talked to in the neighborhood said they went out and got generators during the ice storm or right after it ended.
My dad and my parents went out and got a generator, and we now have an ice box that has the propane food cookers.
And because Willie said he felt that he was more prepared than some of his neighbors, I asked him for some of his key takeaways.
Just make sure you have a lot of food on hand, a lot of food and a way to cook it, and a way to boil water. Just make sure you have plenty of bottled water, keep a couple of cases on hand, and get some coats and make sure you have warm clothes.
Reporting in Springfield, I'm Madison Yeesh.
Great advice.